Welcome back. We're back on the main stage. We're flickering, but we are there. There we are. I think I'll try to hold that flicker down. We've done it, managed it. Great. Right. On to a subject I'm sure you're very familiar with. You've heard it many times, certainly over the last 6 months, a year, in fact, from a 5-day week to a 4-day week. 4-day week, does it work? Is it right? Would you be doing it? We're going to hear now from some companies that are approaching it, that are managing this question and having their own, certainly have their own answers and perspectives as well. I'm intrigued as much as you are to hear really what they have to say. I'm going to introduce to you now the moderator who's going to shape this discussion certainly in the right way forward, and that is from CXM, Venesa Mušović. Venesa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Peter.
Hello. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Wonderful. So it's all about a 4-day week, all the ins and outs. Does it work? Is it right? Benefits, pros and cons, or everything in between. I'm really looking forward to this discussion you're going to have. So over to you. And remember, at the end, I've got a feeling there's going to be quite a few people that are going to ask some questions with this. So towards the end, I'll pop back in with the questions that we have to ask the panelists. How does that sound?
Perfect. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this panel. We are joining you today from all around the world, from Dubai, the UK, New Zealand, and Serbia. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So we are here today to dare to ask some really brave questions. So, namely, over the past year and a half, the 4-day week has become a global phenomenon. It seemed like every day there is a new company that wants to test this program or to join this initiative. But what's really behind it? What are some obvious benefits, but also some challenges that we also need to talk about? For now, we know that there are a few successful examples showing that engagement level rose by 30 to 40%. Work-life balance metric rose by 44%, and organizational commitment rose by 29%. But how and why exactly? How is the employee engagement, productivity, and reduced working hours are correlated? Luckily, we have some great guests today to answer some of these questions. So I will just introduce them briefly to you before we start. So with us today is Jovana Ivanović, a People and Culture Director at Coca-Cola HBC. Jovana has a long career within HR, different HR roles, and she is here today to help us understand what really makes a productive organizational culture. So welcome, Jovana. With us today is also Ivana Jevtić. Ivana is HR from the first day of her career and has worked across multiple industries. And this is exactly the experience we need to understand how to implement the 4-day week in different companies. Also, Ivana is part of an organization, a pioneer of the 4-day week in Serbia, and she will tell us firsthand what are some of the challenges. Welcome, Ivana, to you too. And we are also privileged to have a subject matter expert on this panel. Charlotte Lockhard is passionate enough about this topic to join us in the middle of the night from New Zealand. Charlotte is a co-founder and CEO at the 4-day week Global, and I'm sure she has all the answers. So welcome, Charlotte, to you too. And finally, with us today is my dear colleague from Customer Experience Magazine, a managing director at CXM, Aleksandar Ilić. Aleksandar is currently doing his research on employee engagement, and he will help us understand what makes people thrive in organizations. He will also help us understand how we can prove the ROI of the 4-day week and similar programs, because sooner or later we'll be asked about the money that has been lost or earned. So we have a really great guest today. Welcome, everyone. So without further ado, I will direct my first question to Jovana, if she's still here. I cannot see her. maybe we lost her, but anyways, we can start with open this question and direct it to anyone who is ready from our panelists. So while preparing for this panel, I came across a research by McKinsey. So according to their report that was released in March 2022, more than 40% of people left their current positions without securing a new one. And now we can assume that the pandemic has motivated people to rethink their workplace conditions and dare to seek more in terms of flexibility and fair treatment, well-being, etc. But what are your observations? Why are people leaving and quitting their jobs massively? If we can open this topic with a broader perspective and then explore how can the 4-day week help. So Jovana, if you are here with us now and if you heard my question, do you mind answering it? I don't believe Jovana hears us, so does anyone want to answer this question?
Well, I can give it a bit of a go. We see, so how can the 4-day week fix the problem about people changing their jobs regularly? So the number one reason why companies join our pilot programs post-pandemic is to attract and retain great staff. So we see the effects of what you're describing with 40% of people leaving their jobs without having secured a job. So that's the people who are leaving without having secured a new one. There are obviously a lot more people are leaving having done so. And what we see is that they're being attracted to businesses that can provide them with the type of workplace that they want. And a reduced hour workplace, whether it's 4-day week or a 30-hour work week, certainly is a workplace that people like to come from. And I'm sure Ivana can probably talk to in her experience with her company that that they get a lot more candidates coming to them now because they're perceived as being the sort of employer that cares.
Yes, as Vanessa mentioned at the beginning, the post-COVID time brought us a new situation with a lot more thinking about the quality of life, and with, I would say, a lot more freedom to expect the quality that I want for myself and that I'm dare to ask for, let's say that way. So I will say later a little bit more our motives and our decision to go with this new type of organizing our working time. But I believe that as the topic is, the future of work will be 4 days long.
Amazing. So just before we move to the next question, I want to check if Jovana wants to build on this.
Guys, I hope you can hear me now and see me well. Brilliant. Apologies. A lot of technical issues from my side. I couldn't agree more with what Charlotte and Ivana have shared. For sure, this is something that we have observed throughout our engagement surveys. So talking to our employees and checking on how they feel and how they see the current economical situation and how this makes them feel. And for sure, flexibility is one of the things that people ask for more and more. In a sense of having the way, flexible start of the day, flexible end of the day, working from anywhere, not only home, but anywhere, really. And then, having, let's say, condensed work hours in a sense of having opportunity to have shorter Friday and so on and so forth to pursue different well-being initiatives and so on and so forth. So I couldn't agree more with what the ladies shared, and hope this helps.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So now, in the midst of the pandemic and the mental health crisis and everything that you just described, people wanting badly to change things for better for them, we have seen a fantastic response to a 4-day week global movement. Now, Charlotte, I really want to hear from you. So why do you believe that this can be the future of work and help us with this crisis that we are seeing?
Well, I think that it's important to understand that we've been working a 5-day work week for over 75 years, depending on which country you're in. And it really is time for a change. We've got all this technology and advancements that we've done in the workplace that should actually allow us to be able to reduce work time. And even then, when we brought the 40-hour work week out 75 years ago, society was conducted very differently, and work didn't impact on our lives outside of work as it does now. And so how can we start to have whole lives? And so, I'll tell your people here that are watching, when I'm talking to business leaders, I often say to them, you need to remember that we borrow our people from their lives. And I think that work has slipped away. When we had the 40-hour week, originally it was 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of work. And that's not the workplace that we have in the 21st century. So what I encourage the young people, we've got these things, the Great Resignation and the quietly quitting. These are names that the millennials have given to a process that has probably really existed throughout time, but it now has a name. But I'm a Gen X, and we and the baby boomers, we invented a different phrase for ourselves. We developed burnout. And so our phrase is why quietly quitting exists, because people are now realizing that they don't want to work the crazy hours. They don't want to work all of that free overtime. They don't want to work in a way that impacts on their having time to be whole people. And so for our society, it's really exciting, because what we can be looking at is having our people involved in their families and their relationships and doing things in the community, taking up hobbies, educating themselves. But also there's an element of how gender is balanced if we do 4-day week, with empowering our men in the workplace to be out of the workplace just as much as we women often take that chance for ourselves. And so it's a really important time for us. And it's a time that's very exciting if we believe and push for this, because it will give us don't get me wrong, we focus on productivity in our program. So it's very much about how we make businesses more productive. But it gives us the time that we need to be whole humans. So
absolutely. So there is a lot to unpack here. You gave us a lot of now ideas but we'll try by the end of discussion to unpack some of them. We have Ivana here with us. As I mentioned, her organization actually implemented the 4-day week program in February this year. So Ivana, now talking in more practical terms, what does it really mean, and what are your findings so far, in terms of also benefits and challenges?
Yes, of course. Well, thank you, Vanessa. It's nice to be pioneering something like this, and I have to say that Manpower is in HR industries, is in HR business, in services, and for us this was something like, I should say, experiment. It's not always the point to deliver some solutions in the area of HR, and the area is pretty wide, we all know, but also to try something new and to be pioneer and to inspire others, other companies and other leaders to rethink something about, in this case, working hours and this topic of 4 days a week. I have to say that, as I mentioned, that COVID period put us all in some kind of natural experiment of finding new ways how to work and from where to work and how to organize everything in that new situation. And we wanted to make one step further. And after all of that was over, and after we were all capable to come back to our offices, to try with a new concept of different working hours. You know, the flexible time was already there about starting hours, ending hours, and so on. And we wanted to try with 4 days a week in order to make additional quality of life and to give some other possibilities to our people. And regarding that, I can say that now with this Free Friday in our company, the 3 days Friday every week, it's an opportunity for all of us to choose how to spend it, or let's say to invest it, because some of us will take that time to spend time with family, to spend time with friends, or to maybe learn something new, or to read something new, or to I don't know, read that article that we are taking for some free time to use to make some new knowings and so on. And on the other hand, during this year, I was asked many times about how does it work? Is it really useful? How did you manage it and everything like that? And many companies are rethinking this model in a way that is applicable for them. You know, this model is not something, sorry, it's not something that is possible to be copy-paste. You know, it's not like one solution for all. But it's very interesting that you are capable to find the right solution for your people and for your teams, and to implement it the best possible way for your company and for your business.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what does it mean for your business? Where did you start with the implementation?
Yeah, for our business, for services, I should say, the first question is, will clients accept that well? You know, because the matter of availability, let's say, is always on top. And I have to say that we done it well. And this whole year that we were going through with this four working days model really showed us that it's something that we all can use to, and it's not like business will stop or the world will stop for those 3 days that used to be 2 days, like weekend or so long. It's just to give the enough time to your people, to your clients, to your business, to your targets, and so on. But it's really possible to make a change during, for us, it's less than a year.
Okay, so
at the very beginning, we of course had some kind of, let's say, models how to make this change. For example, we had people from every team on duty, let's say, during the Friday, whether from office, whether from home, and so on. But this is something that was in one period necessary. And now going to another year, I believe that we will even go further without this on-duty people, let's say, during Friday.
I see. So what I'm hearing is that you need to do an analysis and see how will you align your people's need and your clients' need, and then you prototype for some time until you are sure that this works for everyone, and in your industry more specifically. So I will just like to go back to Charlotte for a moment. If Charlotte, you can give us inputs on how different industries actually cope with this if they want to implement the 4-day week program, because it's not same for someone in retail and someone in, I don't know, telecom or I don't know, any other industry. So what is the most challenging industry to implement this program, and how they figure it out?
Vanessa,
yes, it's a very, very important question. But Ivana did make a well-made point. There is no one size fits all, but the way that you find it is to actually ask your people. So, and I love the fact that Ivana it has also made another point that that she didn't make it specifically, is that you also have to constantly review it. So you don't just go, right, this is how it's going to be. And that decision is not made in the C-suite. The C-suite's job, the leader, the owner, whoever is at the top of your business, their job is to decide that they want to try this. And then what you then do is you hand it over to your people to find out how you make it work. And you want to have three things. You want to have, how is it going to be fine for the company? How is it going to be fine for our customers? And how can we make it work for our people? So there's business, customers, and the people. All three of those need to be taken into consideration when you're designing your pilot and how you're going to make it work. And so therefore, when you open your mind to the fact that your people are the ones who'll be able to tell you how you can do it, then you can make it work for you, for your business, not just about your industry, but how does it work in your business? How will it work for your customers? And then make sure that you are constantly checking in with your people, check in with the CFO, make sure he's or she is happy, but check in with the customers and look at finding ways to improve and to educate. Sometimes for the customers, it is about explaining to them very clearly, this is why we're doing it. And I know that it might mean that things are different for you with our organization, but if you take them on a really considered journey and allow them to come with you on the journey, then they will fully on board. One of the companies that's been doing the 4-day week since 2015 is actually a recruitment company too, just like Ivana's company. And the boss of that company talks about how his biggest customer hated it. And it took him quite some time to bring that customer on the journey with him. That customer is still with him today. And so I think that's, people come at it from a place of fear, but they also come from it with this, I don't know how we'll do it. I just don't know. Let your people help you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love this example, and it's showing us really that this program really impacts our brand image, and it's tightly related to customer experience. And I love this connection. Jovana, I think you wanted to add something, but we cut you off earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted, before Charlotte went into her part, I just wanted to add our problem. In a sense of a different industry, or how these things and whether they can and in what way be implemented in different industries. So I did share with you guys offline. I mean, Coca-Cola HBC is the bottler side of the business, which means that 1/3 of the employees are the ones responsible for making the product. So they work on the shop floor in production. Then 1/3 of the employees is responsible for making the product available in retail, in stores. So, and then 1/3 would be the population which does office type of work, different analysis scenarios, but also I would include leaders in this population as well. And then if you observe it from that end, and knowing that our philosophy is we are 24/7 business, which means whenever a consumer wants to drink a product, we need to be there for the consumer. Whenever a retailer is ready to order a shipment, we need to be there for the customer. So it's kind of from that perspective, having a restricted 4 days in a literal sense, 4 days a week is something which is very challenging. Like, how do I make this work for everybody, not only for this 1/3 which might be doing office type of work? So yeah, I just wanted to put that also on the table. Yes, and ask for support.
This is a common question. So again, first and foremost, it's not a decision that can be made from the C-suite. You have to ask the people who are involved. And you might find that also you have to be flexible in terms of what it looks like. So in some of your business, it might actually be a true 4-day week. It might be everybody off on a Friday, or it might be that different people take different days off during the week so that you still cover the 7-day a week, even in the office. Or it might be that you're looking to reduce from a 40-hour week down to a 32 or 30-hour week. And so therefore your shifts are still running, people are still coming in for the 5 days that they already do, but they're just working shorter shifts. But by being agile in your thinking as a leadership around what it might look like, and letting the people on the shop floor, the people in the manufacturing plant, the people who are doing the retail, because it's usually quite easy for people to see how they can make it work in an office. But with the other ones, you just say to them, let's try some things. We want to reduce time, but we need you to work with us. And so there is there's a law called Parkinson's law, which says that work expands to the time that's available to do it. And when people truly apply their minds to how can my job be done, and it might be in the manufacturing plant, how can this part of what we're doing be done more efficiently so that we can still get our production run done, but we can work less hours. And people know where some of the inefficiencies are already. They just don't want to tell you about it because they've got their shift that's already set up. But also there's things that they don't really know because they haven't thought about it. They've not been empowered. When you say to them, we want to reduce time, and then they go, okay, so you're saying I can look at how I can do my job better. And then they actually start doing that. And so there are manufacturing plants that are doing it. I mean, Volkswagen produces cars on a 28-hour work week. So there are ways that industries have done this across the board. It's just a question of having faith. And also, sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Also, it's about being prepared to change midstream. So what you might start with, and which is what Ivana her team are doing, you're not necessarily continuing with. You're looking to constantly improve. Perpetual Guardian, where my story started back in 2018, this is when we came on it. Perpetual Guardian has a very different way of reducing work time now, post-pandemic, than what it piloted, because over time it has found a way of doing it. And Perpetual Guardian's been doing it for 5 years now, and they're constantly looking at how can they improve, which is, of course, what we should all be doing. In our businesses, we should all be doing. How can we improve? By offering people extra time off, you're actually just including them in the conversation, whereas previously it was the McKinseys of this world who came into your business and they told you how you could be more productive. You didn't actually ask the people who have probably the best idea.
Yes, great example, Charlotte. And I think this is the question: how can we improve, but how can we also be inclusive in implementing this program? This is a really important question. Just observing people who work in the hospitality in restaurants, how can they have reduced working hours so we don't make this program elitist? So just as Jovana explained, 1/3 of people get it, and we create this for them. Do we really want to do that? And therefore, I'm really happy that we have also Aleksandar here on the panel, so he can share his manager's perspective. Bottom line, it's about making people feel productive and help them thrive at work. So, Aleksandar, what is your experience and opinion on this? What can help people thrive at work? And do you think that the reduced working hours can be a part of a solution for these issues and challenges that we are facing currently?
Thank you, Venesa. I really love the conversation so far. So, and that's a tough question, actually. I'll begin with the second part of the question, if you don't mind. It sounds like it has a more straightforward answer. So in short, yes, a 4-day week can be a part of the solution for workplace stress, but the part being the key word here. So it's not no single solution will just end workplace stress, but of course, spending less time at work and more time at whatever it is that you want to do will certainly help. However, it has to be done right. Otherwise, we may have to deal with just more stress in those 4 days to make up for the lack of the 5th day. And even in 1 day, you can, if you create a stressful atmosphere, it can be more stressful than a 5-day working week. And also a perspective I've recently seen is living in the UAE. I can see positive examples because a few Emirates, most notable being Sharjah, has recently changed to a full 4-day week. It's still early for the full reports, but they did show some initial reports on increased productivity, but also some of the other positive aspects of it, like a 40% drop in traffic accidents on the non-working days, which is an incredible increase. Also less pollution during the traffic and so on. So there are already big impacts of it. Now, I'll go back to the first part of the question, which is a more difficult one. It comes down to what drives and what motivates people. That's a very old question with like no definitive answer. So far from what I've researched and read, the only thing I'm sure is that the experts who are in the field for many years cannot fully agree on that. And that's because we are all different, and that's normal. We all have different needs, different wants, and so on. So if we consider the basics covered, like a livable wage, physical and mental safety, which is not covered in all places, but in places where it is, you still need to dig deeper to find out what it is that drives people. For some, it is purpose. For some people, it is desire for recognition. Others want challenge. Some people are just there for the money. So it's very different. And what I personally believe would make the biggest difference there is the selection and training of the leaders. So leaders who work directly with people, who know them by name, know their struggles, know their desires, lifestyle, dreams, all that. So, and they can help people thrive as long as they know how to do it, and they're empowered, or at least left alone to do so. Like Charlotte said, so it's not the executives who dominate in that area. It's the people who work directly with other people. And of course, 4-day week will make a huge difference, especially for early adopters. Like we have a case here with Manpower Group, and early adopters, if they tick all other boxes of being a good employer, will certainly attract a lot more talent, and it will hugely impact the employee retention. I'm sure Ivana can share a little bit more on that. But I know that no one wants to go back from a 4-day week to working 5 days a week. So I'm pretty sure that's a big plus on your side. Of course, this will change over time as all our needs change. So over time, it will become the norm, I hope, and it will be something else that is expected and that is a conversation that we're having right now. But overall, I like the direction this is heading.
Thank you, Aleksandar. Great answer. And really, it triggered me to think about 3 different aspects now. And I have a question for Ivana, one for Jovana. I'll start with Ivana, actually. Now, Ivana, do you have insights on what is the response from the customers, from the companies that are your clients, regarding the brand image now? Did it impact the customer experience, actually?
Yeah, sure. I will answer that, but I will just like to refer what Aleksandar just said about retention policy and everything. And to be honest, I will share a short story with you. I was in a company for like 2 weeks this spring, and before that I heard everything, like all of us, about 4-day week in Manpower and so on. And after that 2 weeks, one girl who was on practice in our company decided to leave. She was here for, I think, 2 months or so. and she decided to leave. And I was like some exit interview with her, and I was like, how it's possible to leave 4 days a week? And she was like, she's a junior. She just went the college and so on. And she was like, I found a company that I will be able to work fully remote. And in this very moment, that's more important to myself. I'm young, I don't have family, I don't have kids, I have all the time in this world. And for me, it's more important not to spend 1 hour in traffic every morning and every afternoon, and not to have to dress myself, put makeup and everything every day. It's just more comfortable for me to stay at home whenever I want to, or some other location. So the 4 days a week, it's not magic stick, it's not ultimate benefit or ultimate working condition or so. It's just the option that fits for someone and maybe does not fit so well for everyone.
Absolutely, such a good example. Thank you for sharing that. And also, I wanted to direct this question to Jovana, because it's Jovana already shared with us that it's a challenge for you to implement the 4 day a week fully, and ideally, how would you like it? But what are some other alternatives that you are considering, and like how could you meet the needs of your people to offer them this flexibility?
Yeah. Well, we haven't still found a magic trick or to make it happen. However, there are some pragmatic thinking around what is that we can do around workload. How do we make it less intense and so on? And number one for sure is prioritization. So to empower everybody at every single level to be able to actually prioritize and to understand which actions actually make most of the value, and then focus on those. The second thing is around simplification. Whatever we have in terms of the process, in terms of technology that we use, how do we invest in order to make the process more efficient, more digitalized, more automized, and through this cut again unnecessary administration, unnecessary work, and so on. But in general, if you ask me, what works as well in terms of having the benefit for the well-being as such is also the basic principles that each and every leader needs to have, in a sense of being a caring leader, and actually taking the effort to ask the person, how are you today? And then really listening into how the person is. And through this, being able to actually tailor-made to help with prioritization, to help with the simplification, and to offer some of the flexibility. For some people, it might work to work more from home versus office. For some people, it might work to work longer hours during the week and have a Friday off. For some people, just having the flexibility to take the kid to the kindergarten and then come to work at 10 or so might do the trick. So, as I said, no magic. It's a bit more around tailor-making and then prioritizing, simplifying, and really understand what person needs.
Absolutely. So it sounds to me that we don't need a magic wand. Actually, for this, we need a bit of humanity and personalization in HR. We talk a lot about personalization in customer experience, but we need it in employee experience as well. So I see that Peter had joined us. We have a few questions from the audience. So maybe we want to stop here and give a chance to people to ask questions.
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of engagement on this one. Again, it's the kind of topic that everybody naturally has an opinion on. A lot more, sounds like a lot more questions than perhaps answers, which is natural right at this stage as well. Here's a couple now. Haven't got much time. We'll go through these quite quickly. So this is from Susanna. Is it still a 40-hour working week? Furthermore, what do you do if in the case there's a need for overtime in terms of legal regulation? Who wants to jump on that one quickly?
Yes, I will jump on that quickly. Charlotte mentioned at the beginning, we used to have 8 hours for working, sleeping, and all the rest. And I believe that the borders between working and all the rest are, I won't say not existing, but are less visible in the 21st century than they used to be. When we decided to go 4 days a week, we haven't done anything regarding some kind of reductions about salaries or something like that. This is just a way to show to our people and to give possibilities to our people to make a better balance in their lives. So we still take this as a 40-hour week, and we are still in that model because our regulations are as they are. But it's not the idea to make it formal and make it that way right. It's more idea to find the right way for your people and to find the right way to make a better balance between work and between the rest of the life. So that's the idea in our model. I totally understand the question, and I used to have questions from people from other companies. Would you consider, or whether you were considering model to offer that as a possibility in a model that will meaning some kind of decreasing of the salary? It wasn't our case, but maybe in some company will be. I'm not sure. You have the option of working hours less than 40.
Right. So really looking for the right option that's right for you, right? Right for the company, right for the employee. Moving quickly on to this is about deadlines and unplanned work, right? So at the moment, a 4 days from Mariana, at the moment, a 4-day week is considered an enormous benefit. But what happens when deadlines or unplanned situations occur and you need people the whole week? It is hard enough to ask people to stay over the weekend.
I understand. You have that situation in 5 days week too. I used to work Saturdays in my previous companies also. It's not anything new. You will handle your priorities and you will handle your deadlines as you used to. It's only the thing that you have now 4 days to plan, and sometimes you have 5 days to plan. You have deadlines always. It's up to you and your company when they will be.
Yeah, that's fine. Just at the end of that question, it's Mariana feels it's hard enough to get people to stay over the weekend to do extra work, to do the extra things, extra tasks. So to ask them to do Friday as well, when they've certainly got used to, maybe if they've got into the habit of that 4-day week, asking them to do Friday as well might be a challenge. Anyway, lots of opinions on that one. Moving on to another question. A question from earlier on: is it applicable? The 4-day week, is it applicable to all industries?
I'll take that. Certainly, we see it across all industries. We have companies that we've got a fish and chip shop in the UK that is doing the 4-day week. We have manufacturing, hospitality, medical school, education, all sorts of places that you might be able to think of. There are people that are doing a reduced hour work week of some form. And again, it's about finding how you do it within your people. How do you make it work for your people? And yes, from time to time, there will be a bit of extra work, but that's what we do now with our things. And it's really about a pact between you and your people. If we can keep productivity up at this level, I can pay you the same amount, but we can reduce work time. And that's the conversation that we have. And it's working together to find it.
I think just closing on that note, they're working together to find the right balance, right? Because it's quite complex. If we do it all together, everybody does it, probably will become easier. But again, to get that going, is quite a difficult task indeed. I'm sure everybody listening to this, everybody engaged with this conversation that we've just heard, I'm sure everybody has their own opinion. But hopefully, it's made us maybe rethink a couple of things. And again, you're curious, you'd like to know more, you'd like to reach out to all of the panelists or some of the panelists, I'm sure you can do that. They'll be more than happy to accept your LinkedIn invitations over on LinkedIn. But in the meantime, thank you so much. It's been rewarding, and I hopefully we'll see you again at HR Week in the future.